So I think this is Dakota's third time overall doing ground driving. I guess if you'd say cause or count the first time that we did it actual ground driving, because she was really confused and we didn't do a whole lot. So we'll just say that this is her second actual time ground driving. But I'm gonna go ahead and attach the drive lines here. You can see a little bit better angle from here. But I'm just feeding it through that top ring and checking my girth here. And then I will attach the line to the ring on her halter, and then I can just set the other lines down. I can put them up. I usually put them up over her back once I go to the other side so that I could grab both sets of reins if I needed to. So, okay, so I guess I'm going to start driving from this side because I just kind of put the line over so that I could go ahead and put it through that top ring on the stir on this side and then go ahead and attach it to a pole. Okay, so there's a couple different ways you can do it, and then I'll unattach her just regular lead rope here, and then I got my drive lines. So I would definitely say if you're gonna start ground driving a horse that isn't as quiet as her to just like hold on to one line at all times, I don't think she's gonna go anywhere, but just something to think about while you're ground driving. And it's also really important to have all your lines organized. I had them kind of folded over, and then I can get them all adjusted here so I can I put both of them together, and then I can just kind of fold over the excess and put that in one hand, and that seemed to work best while I was in the round pen. Um, right now, like when I do ground driving, I'm usually in the arena and I just kind of let the excess drag, and that seems to work best for me. But kind of figure out what you want to do. So now that the lines are up high, I can just kind of swing that outside rein up over her hip and have it up high enough it's not going to get in her tail or in her hocks or anything. And then I'm just going to ask her to go forward here, and I have my driving whip. Can help her go forward. She wants to do some grazing there, but she's going forward pretty nicely here. So I'm happy with that. She's nice and forward. I didn't have to do a whole lot to get her going, so that's good for her specifically. So, but yeah, she's pretty good here with me standing pretty much directly behind her and continuing to go and just like follow the rail. So that looks nice. There I'm going to have her steer to the inside a little bit, and I'm just releasing as soon as that inside front leg starts turning. So I'm holding and giving, and then, yep, and then I pick it up again because she kind of wanted to drift back to the rail. That looked nice. And I'm asking her to go to the right here, and she gets a little stuck. When she gets stuck, specifically for her, she kind of stops, doesn't really know, and then she'll go. So that's pretty common for a lot of horses. That's actually easier than a horse that gets stuck and wants to run off. So I guess it's a good problem to have. Like the saying, like it's much easier to speed a horse up than slow one down. That's what I definitely have with her. So. But the beginning steering looks pretty good. Little sticky, but I mean, that's to be expected. This is her second time. She really doesn't have a whole lot of experience with this, so I'm not going to expect a ton. But I am happy just how she's going overall. She's nice and relaxed, and she's not afraid of the lines or me being behind her or the whip being behind her, so we're halfway there really, because the steering and stuff can be easily fixed and worked on. And that's kind of the whole point of all the ground driving. So here she wants to do a lot of grazing. So I'm trying to steer her to the left here. So I'm just kind of holding that left rein and then applying pressure with my drive whip so she goes forward. And then as soon as she goes forward, I'm going to stop with the driving whip. And once she goes to the left, that left rein pressure will stop. So then she's back onto the rail here. And I'm just kind of doing nice big sweeping turns across the pen. So she's not doing anything tight quite yet until she's a little bit better and solid with that steering. And then I got my lines up pretty high, so I'm not going to get tangled in her legs or my legs or my driving whip or anything like that. So having her steer off here. And you're going to see my arm outstretched quite a bit, trying to really open that rein and show her where I want her to go. There we go. That looks really nice. And I'm gonna ask her to halt here, and I'm using that panel, the fence panel, to get her to stop, and that looked much, much better than the last time. And then you can see there when I went up to her to give her that treat, I just tossed both of the lines up so that other outside right rein went up over her hip and is just laying over her half pad and her stir single here, so I have control of both the reins as I go up to feed her. And then she kind of wants to wiggle around a little bit. Again, like I said before, I really need to work on her standing still while I go back to go behind her before asking her to go again. And that's definitely my fault, because here I'm just kind of letting her go forward again and then just kind of tossing the rein over, which really there's nothing that wrong with it with her specifically, because she doesn't really want to move forward that much. it could be a big problem on a horse that wants to move forward a lot and they just continue to go forward. For me at this point, like as you see me go through the groundwork, it's just more annoying, and then I should have just done it from the beginning because it's going to be a lot easier to do at that point. So I think I was asking her to trot there. She really trotted, but this looks like a much better attempt. And then when you are asking for the jog, like she hasn't really jogged in the drive lines yet, so that looks really nice. And so I just clicked her after she went a few strides, and then I'll go up and feed her. And you can see that time I left that line behind her. And then there she's kind of walking off again. I'm gonna ask her to halt. There, that was actually really nice. Um, ask her to halt again. There. Okay, that was better because I should be doing some more of this, of having her wait and stand, and wait for my cues to go on. But one thing about trotting or jogging in the lines is you have to do a little jog as well. So I kind of do like a speed walk, or you can kind of cut at an angle if you're in the round pen, so like you're more in a lunging position, or you can do like a little jog behind the horse. If you think your horse might be worried about you jogging behind them and they might feel like you're chasing them, it's probably a good idea to maybe have your horse lunging, or just have like one line on them and just get them used to you being behind them, or maybe having them walk while you kind of jog in place a little bit behind them, just so they get the idea that you're going to be behind them and moving quicker than you normally do because you don't want to scare the horse. So I'm just refilling my food pouch here and letting her have a little opportunity to stand in the shade. Again, she's walking off, which is not ideal. Ask her to steer, or I'm just getting my line together. But yeah, she's kind of stopping and starting all over the place, which is not the best, but she is starting to steer a little bit smoother here. That looked really good. But she is following the rail really well. I do like that. And then she halted here. So that's looking better. I just gave her a little jackpot there. Then I'll go back into my driving position, get my lines organized, and she's standing here to eat her reward, but that is good because she's standing, so she's practicing standing still and not just leaving as soon as I go back there. The reason that becomes a problem is the horse will start to anticipate, so you going back there will turn into a cue to go forward, which we don't want. So that's why that can become a problem. She's off again. I asked her to go off, so that looked good. I was happy with that. Yeah, the steering looks so much better. Even after just a couple minutes here, the steering looks really good. She's not stopping as much. She's slowing down, but she's still kind of just going through the turn instead of stopping and starting and getting stuck. That halt looked really nice. Versus if you go back and watch that last video of her on driving where she'd feel the pressure and then just keep walking through it and eventually stop. This is much more immediate, like she's maybe taking a stride or two, but then she's going right to the halt, which is totally fine at this point. I'm actually really happy because she is so green at this. And she's starting to get the hang of it, and I think that's just the positive reinforcement, is just showing her the answer. I'm gonna let her stand here for a little bit and hang out, eat her reward. And again, this is nice because I want her to just stand, hang out, not go as soon as I go back there, so that's really good. I'm gonna have her walk off again. That's a really nice trot. I probably should slip my reins a little bit so that I'm not like ending up at the end of the rein. There, I'm trying to ask her to there we go, to steer at the trot. That was really nice. And have her to walk. Or all the way to halt, really. That looks really good. Really, I could have just asked her to halt or to walk. That would have been plenty. But that looked really good. And we just did it like a little gradual left-hand turn there, just a little bit off the rail, nothing too crazy. And she was really good with that. She's really picking this up really quickly, so I'm really happy with that. Again, some nice standing here. I'm actually asking her to go forwards. This is really nice. Cool. Yeah, like this. This looks pretty good. asking her to halt. You can see I'm just kind of lifting up my reins there, asking her to back up. She just backed up one step. That's all I want. Even a rocking of the weight back would be perfectly fine. So I'm going to go give her a treat. So this is really good. She's really building on the last lesson. Before she was really good, but this looks even better. Like she's doing a lot more steering. Stopping looks great. She's working on the backup and the steering at the trot. So all great things. And then this might not be the same place or pace that your horse goes at. So all of them are different. I like this too, where she's just standing, hanging out. I should go up there and give her some treats, actually. I should click her while she's standing still and go up there. That's definitely something I would change. But I do like that she's standing and waiting. That is a good habit to get them in. But yeah, other horses I've ground driven, especially ones that are really forward and can be worried and there's a lot more desensitizing parts to it, I would definitely err on the side of caution and go really, really slow so that you don't scare them and like overface them and then you really have to go back and fix it. So you don't want to do that, especially with those kind of horses. But so a little bit more steering here. She's steering off the rail nicely. So I'm just picking up. She's turning that little bit. There, that inside front left leg goes, and I let go of the rein. And then I'm going to ask her to kind of do a little S here, go back the way she was going, or well, the other way. Those look really good. So she's kind of, turning left a little bit and then turning right instead of just turning one direction. So this is looking good. And just little basic things, like I kind of start with her just coming off the rail a little bit, then maybe cutting across the pen, then doing like a half turn, then doing like this S turn, and just different things. So nice and gradual. We're going to trot the other way. And I probably shouldn't have worried about steering too much right away, because like here I'm getting her to trot. I don't even think she's trotted this way yet, and I'm already asking her to steer off the rail as she trots. So a little too much at once, I would say, for sure. That's kind of my reoccurring problem with her. But yeah, I would just let her trot a little bit, work on getting some good cues with that and some transitions, getting into and out of the trot, and then worry about doing some steering. But she's handling it all really well. Have her walk off again. She had a nice little period of waiting, steering her off to the left. That looks really good. Yeah, I'm really happy with the steering. I'm gonna just say that like a million times, because a lot of the other videos I'm like, oh my, oh my, oh my. There's like so many things that I go back and fix, so at least this is one that I wouldn't fix too much in. So that's good, I guess. She's got that left ear flicking back to me. She's got the right ear forward. So she's relaxed, but she's listening. I love her body language here. I love her head and neck position. And don't be worried if like your horse's head isn't and neck's not as low as hers. She's a Western pleasure bred quarter horse. Like that's kind of where it's supposed to be. It's just going to be there more often than other horses. So I wouldn't look at this and be like, oh yeah, my horse's head and neck should be there. That's just unrealistic for some breeds. But this stop looked really nice, this halt. And I just toss that line up. I have control of her there, and then I can go back and she can eat her treat. We'll just kind of hang out for a second. And then she wanted to graze a little bit, so I just asked her to go forward. I just don't want her to get the lines caught in her legs. And then if that does happen, just see if you can get your horse to stop. I would try using that other line that's not tangled up, because if you pull on it while it's in the leg, the horse could definitely panic and make things worse. So I'd see if you have a good verbal whoa cue, if you can use that other line, and just then that was a really nice trot. She was almost thinking about cantering there, so I'm going to treat her while she's thinking about going forward. But yeah, if you don't want to pull on that line, and see if you can get your horse to halt and get them fixed as quickly as possible. But just being proactive is really going to help you there. Teaching the halt, or teaching the whoa, and then just making sure that the horse doesn't really get tangled in the first place. Sometimes things just happen, but yeah, trying to get that resolved as soon as possible. Having her do a little steering. That looks good. Have her steer back to the right here. You can see me taking the slack out. She's just following that really nicely. A little bit, she wanted to go back to the left a little bit, so I'm just going to say, hey, can you go this way? So I need to go ask her to go forward and to the right. And I'm just kind of having that panel help her out here. So she can't go forward. She really wanted to go to the left, and I'm just going to keep asking until she goes to the right. So that was good. She figured it out. She wanted to stop and eat a snack, and then I just asked her to go forward, and this looks pretty good. Let's go to trot again. Oh, that was a really nice transition. Like where her head and neck's at, it looks really good. I think I wanted to ask her to canter, so I think my plan was there. I put that other line up over her hip, so I had both lines kind of laying on the surcingle, or that outside line laying on the surcingle, and then I kind of moved my position more to the inside and asked her for a canter, which she was totally fine with. She went into the canter for like a stride, and then I clicked in feather. Like, I'm not going to do any canter work like in the lines, because that's going to be a lot more advanced stuff, and it's a lot more work on my part as well, a lot more organizing, and things happen faster, just like anything else, like just like riding at the canter. So I'll wait to work on that. And again, a really nice halt here. But yeah, the canter will come much later. I just want, even before I ride her, I usually don't work on that. Like, as long as she's lunging nicely at the canter, I don't really ground drive them in the canter. I really just want the steering mostly at the walk and the trot, and then the halting. That's really what I'm doing this for. And then from that point, then I'll start working under saddle. But yeah, the canter is just a lot of stuff to do at once. So again, some more nice turning here, some nice steering. Ask her to halt right here. That was beautiful. Her halts have improved so much. And I'm just asking her for one step back. I'm gonna click and give her a reward. That was really nice. She kind of got stuck in the halt, like she kind of like was like just kind of stood there for a second and then backed up. I'll take it. From the last session, the last video, 100 times better in the halts. I'm really happy with that. That was a much softer backup, really good. So she's even improving at that too. So this was just overall a good session for her. I think I might be calling it a day at this point, because that was a really good note to end it on. So I'm just leading her by the halter, and then I'll pop these off. I'm not really sure why I didn't ground drive her back. I probably, because I was like, oh, this is a great note to end on. I'm just going to lead you back and take off the lines. That's probably what I was thinking. And specifically, probably because it was really hot and I wanted to go back to the shade. Because usually if I'm doing something and like we're working on something and the horse did a really great job, I'll just be like, all right, we're done. And I'll take off the lines. Like right now, like I'll just unclip like that. I usually hold on to one line, I'll toss it on the ground, I'll unclip it from the surcingle, I'll clip it back into the halter so I have it, and then I'll go on the other side, unclip it, undo it from the surcingle, and then I still have the line just like a regular lead rope, and then I'll just take the surcingle off. But and then I like to, she's unclipped now, so she can wander if she'd like, but I just like to get my reins nice and organized. But that was a fantastic session for her.